About a decade ago, iDubbbz wasn't just another big YouTuber, he was the moral authority for YouTubers. If he made a video about you, your career might have just been over. Creators feared him and his audience trusted him, but this trust wouldn't last. What followed caused people to completely turn their opinion on him, and it raises one question. Was it iDubbbz that changed, or YouTube itself? Before iDubbbz became YouTube's unofficial authority, he seemed to be just another weird dude making videos on the internet. Little did people know the terrifying influence he would soon have. Ian Kane Joma, I think that's how you pronounce it, better known as iDubbbz Online, was born in October in 1990, making him 35 years old today, but he started making videos when he was much younger. iDubbbz created his main channel in 2012, where he would post mainly gaming videos, but in 2013, he would upload his first gaming news crap video, which would quickly lead to a series he would create known as Kickstarter Crap and Bad Unboxing. These two series would gain him his initial audience, but his sub count would soon skyrocket because he would create another series called Content Cop. Because of this series, his viewers' trust with him would explode.
What we do here is go back.
Content Cop was a series in which he would cover various different YouTubers such as Ricegum, Leafy is Here, and Tana Mojo. This series was created to not only critique different creators' content, but also how they behaved on the internet and in real life too. His first ever Content Cop video was about a creator called Jinx Reloaded, who was a reaction style YouTuber. iDubbbz would criticize this creator for having a very lazy, repetitive, and unoriginal content style.
Maybe you thought you were going to outdo the other reaction channels by improving your video quality? Oh no, that's just going to stay at 720p. I can't go any higher. He doesn't think he's outdoing his competition because his videos are improving. He thinks he's outdoing his competition because he has a different backdrop every 4 videos. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna sit on my bed. I'm gonna sit on the end of my bed. I'm gonna set up the camera, and I'm gonna watch some fucking videos. Fuck editing. Fuck that shit.
What stood out from this video wasn't just the insults, but the actual criticism he would give, and why he thought this type of content didn't deserve the success it had, which lots of people agreed with. The success of the first Content Cop video would lead iDubbbz to make a lot more, but I want to focus on one of the most popular ones, Ricegum. Ricegum was absolutely massive at the time, making diss videos similar to Leafy. He had millions of young fans, was extremely obnoxious, and many people labeled him as a douche tuber. He would also constantly flex his money on his fans, and I don't know why a short dude looking like this was constantly flexing. Perhaps he was compensating for something. These reasons led anybody who was over the age of 12 to dislike him, and were also exactly the reasons why iDubbbz chose him as his next target. iDubbbz would release his Content Cop video about Ricegum in 2017, and he would not go easy on him. He started joking about how Ricegum was already setting up a scapegoat to try and avoid criticism, and he would tear into Ricegum's lazy, repetitive, and clickbaity content style.
He'll roast my appearance, whatever. He'll probably bring up some old pictures of me from way back then when I looked weird.
What are you talking about? It's like you watched the Leafy video and thought, this is all this guy does is roast people's appearance. I could stave off all criticism by showing pictures of myself when I was a goofball kid. I like you when you're a goofball kid. That's perfectly fine. Those pictures are great. You should show the clip of you saying the rape comments is what you should be doing. For this next segment, I'm going to remove myself as a critic, and instead I'm going to speak as a fan. Because me and all the other fans want to know what happened to the clickbait challenge winner.
If you're familiar with Ricegum, you probably know that he was basically just a walking lobotomized douchey hype machine. Most people can agree with this, and many people did agree with this because iDubbbz would then go on to critique Ricegum as a person. He would show various clips of Ricegum doing shitty things such as making it rain on a homeless guy. Oh my fucking god, this guy is such a fucking dickhead, holy shit. He would also show how Ricegum would constantly flex his money on random people, his fans, and why this made him appear to others as an insecure fucking loser. iDubbbz would also showcase Ricegum being a hypocrite in several different cases.
He will often flex in his music videos.
Those 20s, I need blue on my bills. Wrist looking like the 50 bands. When I flex on my wrist, I put some ice on.
He will also flex on random people in the street.
There's a store called Supreme. stream and they dropped this today, and there's like this really long line, like 3 miles. Like, so I'm about to walk by and see the reaction.
He tries very hard to convince his fans that he is not flexing on them. Well, there comes a point where you have to realize that your fans watch your videos more than your haters watch your videos, so you are flexing on your fans.
I can't just sit there and look like a bitch.
If you are ever so terrified of being put in an improvisational situation that you smash someone's phone for fear of looking like a bitch, you sort of automatically just look like a bitch. I just want to mention as a side note that when he was on Drama Alert, he had said that when you go to these YouTuber parties, it's understood that you don't bring out your phone and you don't film people really without their permission.
These YouTuber parties, people know to
Right.
not take out phones.
Or you
So-
ask permission.
People do film at those parties, and you filmed at those parties. Filming's fine when people are okay with it. You weren't okay with it because you got bamboozled.
Because of this content cop about Ricegum, iDubbbz' popularity would absolutely explode. He would gain millions of views on this video and a massive amount of subscribers and positive feedback. And a lot more people started to trust iDubbbz because of the way he would call out creators. They felt as if he was describing what they were already thinking, and this video would give many people the opinion that iDubbbz had become the moral authority for creators. Content Cop had basically formed iDubbbz into this moral authority, a god figure for people to look up to, but over the years, public opinion would slowly shift and iDubbbz would soon become what he would mock in his videos. As the YouTube landscape would start to shift from edgy call-out content to a more ad-friendly and polished environment, iDubbbz videos would start to be heavily criticized. You might be asking yourself, how could someone go from such a respected and trusted creator to one of the most disliked? Well, this is why.
We are very fucking stupid to hold the word at this colossally high standard, whereas every other slur, that can be used in a comedic sense or an editorial sense, but not this one, because that one has history. Well, guess what, fucking retards? Say.
People would ask the question, if he's allowed to judge everyone else, why can't we judge him? You see, iDubbbz would often call other creators lazy and unoriginal, often using edgy humor to mock these people. However, even though his videos took a lot of time and effort to make, the jokes that he would say that were once brushed off as edgy humor would now be seen as offensive and hypocritical. For example, looking back at his various use of different slurs throughout his videos, you can clearly see why people wouldn't be okay with this.
Say.
Another huge thing that would tank his public opinion was his wife starting an OnlyFans. Yes, you heard me right, the man who would criticize people for doing things purely for money and being parasocial with fans, his wife started an OnlyFans. Anissa Joma, iDubbbz's wife, would start her OnlyFans in 2020. Because of this, many people expected him to come out and say something about it, but he would simply remain silent. However, this silence wouldn't last long because the same month, he would release a video talking about why he thought people were being dramatic about the situation, defending Anissa's decision. People would start making fun of him, often throwing around terms such as content cuck or sellout, and there's nothing wrong with people doing OnlyFans, don't get me wrong, but the way iDubbbz's wife acts online, especially recently, it's kind of hard to not see him as a cuck.
I did not do my hair myself. I got it done by actually Ian's sparring partner.
Yeah.
The most unusual one is this one.
Because whose hand is that?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
There's no tattoos on that hand, that's all I'm gonna say.
The buildup of all of this controversy and criticism caused most of his fans at the time to start using his own logic against him. And now we're brought back to the original question, was it iDubbbz that changed or YouTube? He wasn't suddenly cancelled or banned by YouTube, but judged by the standards that he himself had created. Once the question of hypocrisy came into the situation, the moral authority that he held for years suddenly collapsed. I mean, someone who's calling out people for being hypocrites was a hypocrite himself. You can kind of see why that happened. Content Cop wouldn't work anymore, and in a sense, iDubbbz's popularity had died out. He was no longer consistent in his values values or his behavior. In 2023, he would post a video called I Miss the Old iDubbbz, where he would talk about his feelings towards his old content, and he would apologize to people for creating a hurtful series and fan base. I'm not sure why it took him until he was in his 30s to realize this. I mean, most people could already figure that out by the time they're in their 20s or even by the time they're teenagers. He would go on to say that he would always remember his content cop videos due to their massive popularity, but that he was still hoping to move on and learn more about empathy. Grown-ass man in his 30s learning the basic emotion empathy. Crazy.
I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability empathy. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32 I've acquired empathy.
In the end, iDubbbz didn't suddenly disappear, he didn't get banned, and he didn't even fall off, as he still averages hundreds of thousands of views to this day. His peak had simply ended and YouTube and everyone else moved on.